This one is a straight-up confrontation. No setup, no easing in. It's immediate pressure. Austin Scott goes right at the core issue, funding, and more importantly, what happens if that funding stops? Now watch the structure. He asks the same question, again and again and again. Does your proposal stop funding for Customs and Border Patrol? He doesn't move on. He doesn't let it slide. Because he's not looking for nuance. He's locking in a yes or no. And that repetition, that's intentional. Because once the answer is confirmed, everything else builds on top of it. Now look at the response. Rosa DeLauro doesn't deny the mechanics. She reframes the context. They already have funding. Most people are still being paid. This is about how funds are being used. That's a shift from "are we cutting funding" to "they're still operating." And those are two very different arguments, because one is about action, the other is about impact. Now here's where it escalates. Scott ties funding directly to consequence. If you cut funding, you weaken enforcement. If you weaken enforcement, you lose control. That's his chain, and he keeps repeating it until it sticks. But DeLauro pushes back on a different axis. She brings it back to selective enforcement. Who gets paid? Who doesn't? What decisions are being made internally? So now the debate splits. One side is arguing cause and effect. The other is arguing allocation and management. And they never fully meet. Now add the third voice in the exchange. You get a more technical breakdown. What these agencies actually do. Trade, security, human trafficking, child exploitation. And that complicates the picture. Because it shows something important. These agencies aren't single purpose. Cutting funding doesn't just affect one function. It affects multiple systems at once, and that makes the stakes higher. Now zoom out. This isn't just about a budget fight. It's about leverage. Using funding to force policy outcomes. And every time that happens, the same question emerges. Where is the line between negotiation and risk? Because when funding becomes a tool, the impact doesn't stay in Washington. It hits systems, agencies, people, and that's why this exchange feels so tense. Because underneath the argument, there's a bigger reality. Both sides are using pressure, but neither side is fully owning the consequences of it. And Scott's approach here is clear. Simplify the argument. Lock in the premise. Tie it to outcomes, while the response tries to do the opposite. Add context. Add complexity. Diffuse the direct link, and that clash between simplicity and complexity, that's what defines this entire moment. Because in politics, the side that controls the framing controls how the audience understands the stakes.